What's on your playlist right now?
In my class.
Go to guilty pleasure food.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
My name is Tim Plough. I'm the new head football coach here at UC Davis. I was a student here and also assistant coach for 2 previous stints. I love this community, love this university. Obviously, we want to win every single game that we play and produce a great team, but my goal for a long time has been to help our team find joy every single day.
Coach Plough, welcome to Face to Face.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So I think everyone knows this is your first season as head coach here at Davis, and while we're recording this, this is you're fresh off your very first victory as a head coach. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, yes, sir.
I was there. Tell me what you're most looking forward to this season.
I think for me, it's always been about growth. You know, it just personally growth. From getting into this coaching profession, there's a lot of things that can take you a bunch of different directions, but I got into it because of the personal growth I thought I would get from it, and the values you get from leading. So I know, not being a head coach ever, I'm going to learn so many things that I would never had the opportunity to learn in the other positions I've had. So I'm looking forward to that.
So that leads to the next question. What do you enjoy most about coaching?
I think my parents are both educators. They were teachers that became principals, that became superintendents. So I love the feeling of teaching somebody something, whether it be a skill or just knowledge of something, and then watching them put that to use for their own benefit, right? Like that's an accomplishment that's, once I got that fixed the first time, it was just, okay, how can I do this better and help these guys out?
I can relate. My mom was a teacher as well, so I get it. Yeah, it's very influential. At the college level, recruiting is obviously a really big part of your job. Tell me about your philosophy on recruiting and retaining now that we have this portal and all these other things. It's a crazy time we have.
I think if you want to be a great college coach, obviously you got to be a great recruiter. But I've always thought the important thing about recruiting is you got to really believe what you're selling. And that's why I've always loved my time at Davis, because I don't really have to sell it. I love it so much, and I know what it can do for someone that I look for guys that are looking to be something more than just the normal things. Like, obviously, I want them to love football, but I hope that they have a insatiable desire to do something more, like beyond that, whether it be in their career or in philanthropy, something that can help everyone get better. And the cool thing about coaching at Davis is you are surrounded by guys like that. Like, they wake up every day and they want to be great at whatever they're doing. So it's really about identifying those guys and then putting them in a position to understand why this is the best fit for them. Because what can happen at Davis, we don't really recruit against other Big Sky teams. We really recruit against FBS, like Mountain West teams, and then Ivy League teams. And so it's usually a great student, and he's either trying to decide between going to a private Ivy League school or go to Davis, or he's trying to decide, do I want to go play the highest level of football but sacrifice the education piece? And so we're trying to give them that picture of, well, you can do both here.
Right.
And then from a retainment standpoint, the other big reason why I wanted to take this job at Davis is this is one of the last places where, luckily, we haven't had to face that as much, because the guys that we have here can see the value of it. And even though we may lose a guy here or there to the NIL, most of them are going to graduate. They're going to graduate, and then it's like, hey, if you got to go play one more year somewhere else and further your football career, that's a great recruiting tool for me, because now I can tell them, hey, if you want to go to the NFL, Keelan Doss went to the NFL. If you want to transfer and go somewhere, we'll be so good at developing you that someone's going to pay you to go play for them. And for me, that's a great recruiting tool. Like, come play for us. We'll develop you as a man, as a student, as an athlete. And then someone else is going to pay you for those services down the road, which just is what we're about, is developing guys.
That sounds like a really good sales pitch. I'm sure a lot of guys relate to that. So every year we have the Causeway Classic, and last year we won. By the way, President Wood at Sac State and I have a nice promotional rivalry between the two of us on this game. So, I want to keep the trophy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got a prediction for me this year?
Well, I know this. If you want to be a good football team, you can't lose to the team across the Causeway, and you can't lose to the team that's down south. We don't like the color green. And the cool thing about going forward for the future is one of my best friends in the world is the head coach at Sac State. So being able to try to beat your brother added emphasis. Like, we got to win this game. So I feel pretty good. Yeah,
I understand, and I'm with you. So thank you. So you mentioned you're an alum, but you also played quarterback for the Aggies back in the day. So what advice would you give your current student athletes, football or beyond, having been a student athlete here yourself?
Yeah, I think that's really what pushed me into the coaching. At the forefront of it was my playing career here was not great and could be deemed even as a failure in some people's eyes. And a lot of it had to do with injuries, but also just how I approached my day in regards to professionalism of what it takes to be a great athlete, what it takes to be a great football player. And I had to learn that the hard way of, well, if you want to be great at school and football and your social life, like, you got to be able to find that balance maturely to be able to do it the right way. And that led to injuries and just led to a career that I definitely wish I could have back. But it's helped me be a better coach because I can identify that with players and push them to say, hey, you're not going to want to live with regret after this. Like, you got 4 or 5 years here. Just put everything you have into this, and you'll get it all back full. And the cool thing about Davis is, for me, what I've learned is I did give it all into the school and to the community, and that has come back full circle for me with the amount of relationships I've made. So I can tell these guys, if you go all in with it, don't just dip your toe in. Like, go ahead and dive in and reach your full potential, then you'll have no regrets.
Yeah, that really is good advice for almost any profession.
Yeah.
So you've been a few places before coming back to Davis. What's the best thing about being back here on campus?
Oh, man. I could go on forever on that one. My wife and I both graduated from Davis, so this was kind of just a manifested dream for her and I. Is when you're a coach, we know that you're going to bounce around. You're going to get fired. That's not the life of a coach. But in the back of our mind, our thought was always, if we ever have a chance to be the head coach at Davis, like, that's where we're ending. That's where we're stopping. That's where we want to be because of the community. That's what I'm so excited about. I love the community. I got 3 little boys. To be able to raise my kids in Davis, have them go to school in Davis, be around Davis athletes, and then the people that I've known here for 20-plus years, a lot of them are still here. And I think to have that type of relationship and type of security for my family is what I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, that sounds like a perfect reason. Yeah. We have a little game that we play here on Face to Face. We call it Hot Seat.
All right.
But basically, I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm looking for like a one word or one sentence kind of rapid fire answer. So, ready?
All right.
All right. Favorite NFL team or player?
Chargers. Favorite team, player, John Elway.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So this is related to that question. Which quarterback is the GOAT?
For me, it's John Elway, but I would listen, obviously, to the Brady argument. I also have a soft spot for Drew Brees. Those are the 3 I would accept. Yeah.
In the Bay Area, you have to say Joe Montana, right?
I know. My wife would tell me that. She's a huge Bay Area gal, so I'm gonna hear that when I get home. Yeah.
Okay. What did you want to be What did you want to be when you were a kid?
I actually wanted to be a baseball player. Grew up playing baseball and football, but that was my first love was baseball. So it's funny, my kids now, that's all they do is play baseball. They like football, but they love baseball. It's probably my fault, but wanted to be a baseball player.
Who's a leader you find inspiring?
Yeah. Well, I'm a history major from Davis, so I've always looked at great leaders of the past. I loved John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, from a historical standpoint. But from a coaching standpoint, Jim Soker, Chris Peterson have been the 2 guys that have probably influenced me the most as a leader.
Yeah. Good to hear those names.
Yeah.
I ask all my guests this one question. What artist is at the top of your playlist right now?
Man, I was just joking around with the players about this because, I've gone in different waves. So when I was younger, I was more of like a punk rock, hip hop guy. And as I've gotten older, I've kind of eased myself into country. But right now, I listen to a lot of Chris Stapleton, Tyler Childers, Zach Bryan. Those are kind of the 3 that I listen to a lot.
Okay. Yeah. Kind of modern country artists.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's your turn. Ask me whatever question or questions you have.
Man, okay. I think the first one would be, if you're in your car and you're gonna flip on your radio or flip on your CD, like what album? Like if you had like one album to listen to.
All-time favorite album is "Songs in the Key of Life" by Stevie Wonder.
Oh yeah.
But there's several old school albums I like. "What's Going On," Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Many Earth, Wind and Fire albums I could name, but that's kind of I'm an old school R&B kind of guy. Yeah.
From a athletic standpoint, what were the influences or teams, sports that you found yourself when you were younger, like the teams that you were on?
I grew up in St. Louis.
Okay.
So it's required that you're a Cardinal fan.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I played baseball. My dad was my little league coach. But I admired guys like Lou Brock and Bob Gibson and Ozzie Smith later.
Yeah.
I met Ozzie recently, and I still think he's the best shortstop I've ever seen play.
No doubt. I'm a Padre fan, so he started with the Padres.
That's right.
So you're not going to get an argument from me there. Yeah, that's awesome. In your time at Davis, right, like not just gassing you up because you're here, but you've done a lot of amazing things just in my eyes from, when the transition happened. What are some of the things that I can do from my seat that would assist you in anything you're trying to do to help, improve Davis itself?
Yeah, that's a really great question. We think a lot about the environment and the campus climate here, and I think athletics and football is a very important part of building community. So anything that you and the team can do and your staff can do to be out and about on campus, being ambassadors for the campus when you go out and play away games and things, that's always helpful to me. In fact, I tell people when I go with the team, whether it's football or basketball or whatever sport, when I go with the team to an away game, one of the things that affects me the most and makes me feel good is when somebody at the hotel, a clerk or somebody says, "Wow, your students are such nice people. They're very polite and they know how to handle themselves." So that's the kind of thing I want to just continue.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny when, I got to see the transition, right? Because I remember when Coach Biggs was the head coach, I just started coaching, and they had stuff happening on campus and just a lot of things going on. So just from an alumni standpoint, I just want to say thank you for all you've done for a place that I really, really love, because it's, in my opinion, become even better under your leadership. And this place, to my wife and I, this really is home, this place we really care about. So I really thank you for all you've done.
Appreciate you saying that. We're glad you're back. It's a great place. I've learned to love it as well in my now 8th year starting. So UC Davis has so much to offer, and we're just happy to be a part of it. And happy that you're a part of it as well. So thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time on Face to Face. Go Aggies.